Oh yeah. Always hallelujah. Oh, louder than the darkness flee. Always hallelujah. Yeah. Hey everybody. Yeah. Always hallelujah. Fear you lost hold on me. Hey guys. Just while I wait, I'm just worshiping a little bit because I'm on my lunch break. The middle of the storm. Did y'all not can sing? No, not really. You're gonna hear my praises roar up from the ashes. Hope will arise. Death is defeated. The King is alive. I'm gonna sing. Hey guys, I'm just worshiping as people come in real quick. Let me get my energy up. Okay. Always hallelujah. I don't know if you guys know this song. It's really good. And in my head, I think I can sing. You guys see that meme? When you think you can sing, but when you really hear it back, you're like, oh, I can't really sing. I think I can sing though. Sing a little louder. Hey guys. Sing a little louder. Sing a little louder. Sing a little louder. In the presence of my enemies. Sing a little louder. I'm the unbelief. Sing a little louder. My weapon is a melody. Sing a little louder. Heaven comes to fight for me. Sing a little louder. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get back to my worship. Sing a little loud. I'm gonna get back later. Hi guys, how are you doing today? We got this great hot topic. Don't jump off, guys. I'm starting now. All right. So today we're just gonna discuss questions. Basically, all I'm doing is taking questions. But before that, I always start off by explaining a small topic. So today I'm just basically gonna explain vowel. Okay. All right, because I'm just here on my lunch break. All right, and so I just have I'm just gonna be here 30 minutes, guys. So today, if you have questions, I need you to jump on my IG ASAP so you can ask your questions live. All right, because I'm just gonna talk for about 2 minutes about vowel adjustment of status asylum. 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes, and then I start taking questions. So the people who are ready to ask questions, come on through, jump on my IG, that's the place where you can ask me questions. All right. So without further ado, VAWA, again, remember that my name is VAWA Queen and we specialize in VAWA cases. All right. We specialize in helping men and women obtain 10-year green cards through VAWA. Okay. We have men and women obtain 10-year green cards through VAWA. Okay. We also help men and women obtain 2-year conditional green cards through adjustment of status through marriage cases. Okay, so we also help men and women obtain 2-year conditional green cards for those who are typically getting a green card through their spouse. In other words, usually what you're going to get is a 2-year conditional green card. All right, and then we also do asylum cases, all right, which is for those who have fled their home country because of something they cannot easily change about themselves, such as their race, their nationality, their religion, their political opinion. In other words, due to unrest in the country. Okay, so these are the three case types we take. Within these three case types, there's many different segments and things like those. But the key is, I always say we have both men and women obtain 10-year green cards to VAWA. Okay, because VAWA applies to men too. Many people think of VAWA as standing for Violence Against Women Act and start to think like it only applies to women. But I've said it many times before that 98% of our, well, it used to be 99, now I'd say 98% of our clients are men. 98% of our clientele are men now. Okay, we also have women, of course, but just to tell you that VAWA does not only apply to men. All right, and remember, VAWA applies to a plethora of issues in a marriage. Okay, it could be anything that's common in a marriage, even common between a U.S. citizen and a U.S. citizen spouse, such as a spouse talking down to you, cursing you out, spouse disappearing, a spouse isolating you from family and friends. So increasingly, less and less people have access to you. We're talking about a spouse withholding sex from you, you're giving it to another. These are sadly but surely common problems that even a U.S. citizen to a U.S. citizen spouse experience. We're also talking about even more extreme now issues or abuse, such as a spouse beating, biting, choking, slapping you, a spouse exposing you to an STD. These are now the more extreme ones, all right? A spouse giving you an STD, a spouse cheating on you multiple times with multiple people, right? Cheating is common, sadly, but cheating on you multiple times, multiple people, that's considered extreme abuse. We're talking about things like a spouse, even again, withholding sex from you, you're giving it to another person. You finding out something about your spouse that had you known ahead of time, you wouldn't have married them, such as a spouse having, again, nothing wrong with these things, but if you find these things after the marriage, technically they're deal breakers. You finding out a spouse cheated on you, you finding out, I mean, not sorry, you finding out a spouse, I'm sorry, has a mental disorder, schizophrenia, bipolar, something like that. You finding out a spouse is gay or bisexual, again, these are not a problem, but they are a problem if you find out after the marriage. You know, these are deal breakers. Could be deal breakers. You finding out a spouse, has, is incompetent or is unable to bear children, and maybe that's something you really wanted to have. Again, these are sort of deal breakers if you find these things after the marriage. Or also sometimes just the most clear way to find out someone qualifies for vow is, has there been an extreme change in yourself? Like, maybe you used to be an extrovert, now you're antisocial. Like, maybe you used to be the life of the party, now you don't want to go anywhere because of this marriage. If that relationship changes you like 360 degrees, changes you for the worse, not for the better, then we would say, or we would tend to think this is a good vow case, okay? If there's been in other words, a 360-degree change in who you are because of this marriage, and not for the better, for the worse, okay? Maybe this marriage exposed you to a mindset or thinking or a lifestyle that's completely something that you weren't comfortable with. You told your spouse you're not comfortable with, such as maybe you became a swinger and you told your spouse, I'm not comfortable with that, such as having things like, I'm just going to say them because I hate them all the time, like a spouse forcing you to have a threesome, okay, or forcing you to become a swinger. In other words, if this marriage has changed you, in your opinion, to the worse, and it's something that you told your spouse you're not willing to do. Your spouse has made you do things you're uncomfortable with. And that reminds me, maybe your spouse has made you do criminal activities. So if you're married to a spouse who makes you sell weed, sell drugs, sell coke, sell heroin, or use coke, heroin, drugs, if your spouse makes you do those, puts you under coercion, makes you do things you're uncomfortable with, things such as crime or criminal things, okay, or things that could be considered criminal in some states because marijuana is legal in some states. But you get the point. If your spouse, coerces you to doing things that you're fully uncomfortable with, things that could be criminal or against the law, maybe they're not against the law, but just against your moral code, and you have told your spouse this, then we could have a good vow case. And by the way, while we're on this, if your spouse rapes you, just because you're married doesn't mean it's not possible to be raped. If your spouse has literally raped you, literally like just forced himself or herself on you, all right, then we consider this. I mean that could be a good vow case. Let's put it that way. All right. So that's vow cases in a nutshell. Remember, vow applies if you're married, you're separated, you're divorced from a U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse. All right. It also applies if you're not married but live in a state such as Tennessee, such as Texas, South Carolina, Alabama, New Hampshire. If you're not married, but live in a state such as South Carolina, New Hampshire, Alabama, Kansas, such states like this, and you're not legally married, all right, but you actually have been in a long-term relationship with someone, all right, who's a U.S. citizen, all right, and you guys have children together, or you live together, or you have a business together, In other words, you do things together just as if you were legally married. And in other words, if the average person were to look at you, they would think you guys are married. If that's the case and you live in a state like Texas, South Carolina, Alabama, New Hampshire, to name a few, uh, then you could possibly qualify for a 10-year green card through VAWA even without being married. All right. All right. So again, that applies to people who are married, separated, divorced. If you're divorced, you need to file for VAWA within 2 years after your divorce. Okay. And then it also applies for people who are not legally married. Hi, Tashiate. For people who are not legally married. Colorado, I believe, is one. I believe Colorado is a common law state. Yes, so you'd qualify for VAWA typically, even if you're not legally married. But give me a call. Let's talk about a conversation for sure. That's my answer to JoJo. All right. So these are the people who qualify for VAWA. All right. All right. Usually. Okay. Just I'm just giving a summary. And then there's adjustment of status to marriage. We also do those cases, by the way. So that's are the cases where your spouse is filing for you. In other words, this is based on the goodness of the marriage, on the marriage being good. We also do those cases, and I love those cases. To be honest with you, I started with those cases first before I did VAWA. It's actually one of the ways or reasons why I discovered vows, because I used to do the opposite, which is where you and your spouse are together and you're lovey-dovey and you love each other. So we also do adjustment of status of marriage cases, and then we also do asylum cases. All right. And if in the plethora of VAWA, there's a subset of VAWA which is removal of conditions based on VAWA. So if you already have a 2-year conditional green card, that means your spouse already filed for you, and now you already got a 2-year conditional green card. But since then, the marriage has gone bad, or has gotten toxic, or your spouse has then since the time you got the 2-year conditional green card till now, your spouse has become toxic. We also help you obtain a 10-year green card based on VAWA. In other words, we help you remove conditions from your 2-year conditional green card and get your 10-year green card through VAWA. All right. I'm done talking. Let me start taking in questions. All right. So that's a summary of the kind of cases we do and what they stand for. All right. And let's start taking these questions. While this first person is coming up, I want to say, the question I get asked all the time is, well, okay, I'll answer it after she comes. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, nice seeing you. You look so beautiful today.
Thank you. I put on makeup.
Okay, on a quick one. A friend of mine is trying to file for VAWA,
Okay.
but they are divorced.
Okay.
But like after a year, she delivered the baby,
Okay.
but for someone else. Can she still file for VAWA with her ex-husband?
The issue always comes up to, was the marriage abusive? Was it really bad? And
the marriage was, the guy wasn't performing well.
So as long as I'm able to prove that on her behalf, then yes, she still qualifies, because even U.S. citizen to U.S. citizen spouses cheat on each other, right? So but I do want to say on this topic, I'll just use this as a teaching moment. Just tell her she should definitely not try to hide the child. That's just what you don't want to do. You can't hide the whole child. So she's just gonna have to be willing to talk about it if it comes up at the interview, and I can discuss more with her at the consultation. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Take care. God
bless. Yeah,
that's a great question. I hope you guys heard that. So, what if you were in a situation where she was asking for someone else, where you're married and it's abusive? I guess you separate with your spouse, and then in the process you end up getting with someone else, and you have a baby for someone else. Can you qualify for VAWA? And I said, well, the issue is, do you qualify for VAWA? As long as truly the marriage was abusive and there was a lot of toxic issues, and as long as truly we're able to show truly that the marriage was abusive, then you having a baby with someone else, I wouldn't say it's inconsequential. I'll just say then it will be considered just like any other marriage that you probably just cheated. And as long as in other words, you're willing to disclose the child, you can't hide the child. All right, and that's the mistake I see a lot of people doing. Like you trying to hide the whole child, the whole human being. I've discussed this many times before, including last time where I said you cannot hide a child. Okay, so moral of the story, you just cannot hide a child. Even if you messed up, you stepped out on your spouse who was abusive, by the way, or who you had issues with, you just whatever you do, do not, I repeat, do not try to hide the whole being, a whole human being, a whole child, a whole spouse. It's always gonna come up. It's always gonna come up at the worst time. It's always gonna blow up in your face. It's always gonna cost you your green card. Okay, so the answer to that, and I just love that question, is in other words, just as long as you don't try to hide that child, and as long as you truly do qualify for the VAWA case, then yeah, I mean, I think I will still go for it. Okay. So if you're in a situation like that, or you know someone who's in this situation like that, have them call me. Let me put my phone number down here. And let me talk to them further in a consultation, okay? And then I can we can just talk further. Yeah, let me just put it that way. So let me put my information down here. This is my website, guys, or fullerlaw.com. This is on IG that I'm putting it, and my phone number. Everywhere else where I'm live right now, the information is up. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Somebody said thank you. You're welcome. All right. Let me take some more questions. Thank you, Mr. Mubar. Thank you for watching. What's your take on delaying processing visas? Do you advise getting a lawyer involved? Yes, I do. A lawyer always helps with processing time. But my take is, it is just we have been experiencing some delays, especially last year. Oh, there was a lot of delays last year. So that's my answer to Prissy. Okay.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you? Thank you for taking my call today.
Sure. How can I help you?
So I have a quick question. I submitted my IOS adjustment status last year. That was in April.
Okay.
On February, I get my advanced parole and I get also my work permit. And on September 16, they asked me for RFE for the medical.
Okay.
And before that, they sent me the other one that they received my application, but they didn't see my medical. But they asked me if you're going for the interview, bring your medical, or if we need it before, we will send you another RFE. So they sent me the RFE requesting for the medical, and after 3 days, they approved my I-130. And I did my RFE, I submit to them last week on Wednesday, but I never get back if they receive it or no.
Okay, what's your question? Because I want to make sure I'm getting what's your, just directly ask me the question.
The question is, does that mean they waive my interview?
The fact that what?
They ask for the medical?
No, it doesn't mean that at all. No, usually it depends how. First of all, let me ask you: did you use a lawyer or you did this yourself?
I used a lawyer.
If you use a lawyer, typically some law firms do differently. Like for instance, we used to send in the medical report ahead of time, but because of processing times getting longer, now we don't send that in ahead of time. We always tell them on the application that we'll submit it later. So usually when they ask you for medical exam, they're just giving you a courtesy statement like, hey, send us this medical report. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. I've got to go in just about a minute or two, and I'll take one more question. All right. Okay. I think I've got everything, every other question. Guys, I can try to come back live. I just forgot I have a meeting, and it's a leadership staff meeting. I can't I can't miss it. Someone says you have I need to foresee a fraudulent attempt for marriage charge, which is not true. Can you file for VAWA? Yes, usually we've had people who have that on their case, on their record, and we've still filed for VAWA. Okay. And I always say that if you have a fraudulent marriage charge, basically, I think at that point, VAWA is your only option anyway. That's the only best option you're gonna have of fighting such a charge, legally speaking. Because why? Because VAWA is based on problems or abuse in the marriage, and when you're in an abusive marriage, it's very probable that your spouse can make allegations against you, such as you married them for fraudulent purposes, when it's not true. So especially for someone like that who has a fraudulent marriage charge on your record, and you still don't have a green card, especially for someone like that, you need to be calling me. Let's talk about VAWA. Let me see if I can help you. And if I can, I'll tell you. Or if I think it's 50-50, I'll tell you. But to answer the person, Spike, yes, I think it's possible to use VAWA. And in fact, I think VAWA is probably your best option right now. All right. All right. So, I'll come back. I've got to jump out. I'm going to come back. Let me see. It's one more question. I'm going to come back. I'll try to come back this evening, if not tomorrow. Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hello, madam. Quick
Thank
question.
you for doing this live.
Okay. I'm rushing, so just quickly get to your question. Sorry.
Okay. I met someone and she's living in America. She's married.
Okay.
She's been here for 7 months.
Okay.
And the man is being abusive and never apply for her. Can she still apply for VAWA?
Well, it sounds like a great VAWA case. Sounds like it. I wouldn't know for sure till I have a consultation with her. So just tell her to call my office, schedule a consultation, and I can talk to her. But sounds like it. The person, she's married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder?
I'm not sure. The person got a green card, but I'm not sure if
okay, green card is also same. See, that's the same thing else. Okay. So yes, have her give me a call. I can't for sure say she qualifies, okay? Because already you're talking for her, so I need to have a conversation with her, find out what really happened, and I could tell her for sure.
It's really, really bad because I tried to call her today. I couldn't even find her. It's really, really bad.
Just have her give me a call, ma'am. There's nothing. I always say I can't for sure give 100% quote on yes or no. Is it a grave case on a live video? That's something because of liability purposes. I need to say that in a conversation. Okay, so I'm willing to help her. Just have her call me.
All right.
Thank
you so much.
All right, guys. I'll be back another time. Take care. Spread the word. If I talked about anything that applies to someone you know, spread the word, share. Don't be stingy. Love you. See you later, either today or tomorrow. I'll be back. God bless. Bye.